welcome back to another episode of Skr Alert. I'm your host, Ty Talks Trash. We are talking Rutgers game preview and predictions today. Before we get started, make sure to click that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up and the notification bell to stay in touch with everything we are dropping this season. We are also covering volleyball and basketball as they start to roll on. So keep it locked right here for all of your Husker needs. But let's get into it. The Scarlet Knights are coming to Lincoln this Saturday. Greg Schiano leads an undefeated Rutgers team into Lincoln for what one can only assume is going to be a classic Big Ten game. Just a grind it, wear you out type game. Rutgers has been running the ball pretty well this season, so a couple of things I wanted to do before we jump into everything. I wanted to pull up some of the tape from their Washington game. Now, if you did watch the game, the announcers are completely unbearable, so I will have it muted, but I just wanted to take a look at some things, maybe see a few things that maybe we should expect from Rutgers when they come into Lincoln this Saturday. So, all right. Right away, one thing you will notice is they're going to play a lot of zone coverages. So, just like that, finding the space in between the defenders. And they have been giving up over 6 yards per rush this season. So, look for Dowdell and Emma Johnson to have a big game this Saturday. Look at that hole. Missed 1 tackle, missed 2 tackles. They do run a bend, don't break defense. That's really, really good in the red zone, only allowing like just over 50% in the red zone. So it's a bend, don't break offense for Schiano and the Scarlet Knights. They don't have any sacks on the season either. So their defensive line isn't great at getting to the quarterback. And our offensive line has been good in pass protection, so that sets up well for Raiola. Look at that. He had a beautiful pocket all the time in the world. Horrible throw. But just watch. No, Dylan will have some time back there. I'm more concerned about our run blocking, honestly. Nice breakdown there. Way to get yards and get on to the next one. Just another zone beater there. There's a lot of empty space in the middle of the field when they play this zone. These linebackers tend to bite down on the play action, see him come down there, and then it's too late. He's already in the seam. Blitz off the edge. Nice. Skirt. He was open. That's just a horrible pass. And here's something we hope we see. Although in this game, Washington did have, oh boy, did they have some Nebraska issues going on. That'd be the only field goal they make of the day on like 4 or 5 attempts, I think. Look at Manungai here, just blasting through a tiny little crack. Decent protection by the offensive line there. However, you did see a Washington guy get through. Good double move by the receiver. Finds the seam. Horrible tackling, Washington. Should have been a sack there. Line completely broke down. Look at that. 3 guys in the backfield. That's just bad tackling. From 2-yard loss to 12-yard gain. Again, having trouble identifying the blitz on the offensive line. Guys in the backfield. Manungai is just an absolute beast. Their backup is good as well. Can't remember his name. Brown, maybe? Look at that. Just pounding through him. Good strong run by Manungai. He's going to be a serious problem. They're going to run these inside zones and these split zones all game long. If we can't stop it, we're in for a world of hurt. Nash and Ty need to be big up front, getting off their blocks and filling up that middle. Nice run by Washington here. I think they catch him in a blitz. Yep. The linebackers came down, tried to get through, and that's what happens sometimes. Hopefully we see a little of that from Emmett. Another big hole. Again, Rutgers defense has been giving up 6.3 yards per carry or something like that. So look for a big day on the ground. Here's where Washington's struggles in the special teams start to come and bite them in the rear end. This is where I'm pretty nervous for Nebraska. If it's one of these low scoring, grind them out type games, we don't have a special teams unit capable of hanging in there. So we're most likely going to be going for it on fourth down almost all game long. Unless it's like within 30, and even then, who knows. But Rutgers special teams is pretty good. They do have a couple of blocked kicks on the season, so look out for that. Good fake there. Manungai just finds space where there's absolutely none. It's one of his best qualities. I mean, for as hard and fast as he gets downhill, he's got some shake. Bad block there by Manungai. Didn't pick up the blitzer. Doesn't matter though. Quick slant will fix a lot of issues. Get the ball out of the pocket quickly. Perfect. Bad tackling. Shoelaces. Blitz off the edge. Perfect pass. Hopefully we see some good coverage from Buford and Sayer Wright. They're going to need to be on him tighter than that, I'll tell you that right now. That's not going to do it. Little screen pass. Rutgers doesn't have a very explosive pass game. They really don't launch it down the field far too often. And Ethan Kaliak-Manis, I mean, he's not the greatest quarterback, although he has beat Nebraska every time he's played him. What was that? Why'd he throw the ball in the air? Rutgers got lucky there. This is one of their best receivers here. Miller, I believe. Transfer wide receiver. Oh no, that's Ian Strong, my bad. What is that edit? Just high points the ball, gets up there and comes down with it. Good grab. Again, just a porous rush defense by Rutgers. Hopefully Nebraska can take advantage of that. It will be one of the keys to the game to see if the offensive line can continue to improve in the run blocking. And the pass blocking has taken significant steps this year, but this is from their own goal. Manungai, huge run here. Horrible tackling. 1 broken tackle, 2 broken tackles, 3, 4, 5. Takes 5 tacklers to get him down. We absolutely cannot have that. The Nebraska defense has been struggling to tackle efficiently this season, so this might be a problem. If Nebraska can't wrap up on the first hit, like what is that? Your arms aren't even around him. Wrap up. Even that guy, like no one wraps up. It's too high on the ball carrier. Unbelievable. You're a D1 program. Kind of looks like, to me, this is a beautiful play right here. Beautiful play. If they show the replay. Nope. They do scheme some blitzes up, but I think Dylan won't have a problem picking those up. He tends to feel the heat pretty well and move around in the pocket. Little hitch, slant, and he stops and hitches right in the middle of that zone. Dylan's great at playing against the zone, so if they're going to play as much zone coverage as they did against Washington, We'll be just fine. And Illinois might have presented the most complex, just another great run. Washington can't tackle to save their lives. Very obviously don't hit hard and tackle in practice because that is embarrassing. Ready? One guy. Two guys. Should have been three there, and he just gets tripped up. Three missed tackles, touchdown. Beautiful pass. Just a man beater. Nice pickup of the blitz. So they do scheme some things up nicely when it comes to pressures, but as long as our running backs and everyone's aware of what's coming, we should be okay there. Dillon, again, like I said, feels it nicely. That's great downfield vision to find that guy. Another big hole. Quick slant route under the zone coverage. This is where it starts to get familiar for Nebraska fans. Second missed field goal. High snap. No excuses there, though. You got to hit those. Yep. My thoughts exactly, bud. Good pass protection by the line. Another little dig, curl, hitch, whatever you want to call it. Oh, that's a beautiful ball. But yeah, those underneath zone coverage slant routes where they just kind of hitch right in the middle when you find the open space, like this tight end just did. Beautiful catch there. Beautiful catch. I think we're going to see a lot of those, though DBs are going to be completely mismatched against our big receivers. So look for Dillon to take advantage there. Look at that. Beautiful. Look how small that guy is. 7. Beautiful. That's what we need to see out of Nebraska. Pressure coming. Just trying to plug that box. Manungai. Nope. Quarterback keeper. Ugh. We'll get into... Oh, my lord. Defense is confused. Nice another little curl route. It won't be fast enough, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's a little taste right there of what to expect from Rutgers. Again, defensively, really not too much to be concerned about from their defense. I think Dillon's going to have a pretty easy time dissecting that cover 2 if they're going to run that the whole time. And then when it gets to man coverage, I think you just open up Lloyd and Barney and have some people with speed differentials take over the game there. But let me pull up. Okay, so Rutgers does have some new faces on their roster that we might not all be familiar with as Nebraska fans. Well, in Rutgers jerseys. We might not be familiar with some of these faces in Rutgers jerseys. Ethan Kaliakmanis, the quarterback for Minnesota, transferred over to Rutgers this offseason, along with Dino Kaliakmantis, who is a wide receiver. Not sure the relation there. I'm assuming brothers, but yeah, don't know, don't care. Demir Miller, wide receiver, came from some tiny little school, but he has made an impact this season for the Scarlet Knights. And then Shedrick Rose, an offensive tackle from the Ohio Bobcats, transferred over. Austin Riggs, a long snapper from BYU, and Malcolm Ray, a defensive lineman from FSU, all transferred over to Rutgers. So they brought in some talent uh, to match what Shiano has. Key contributors for the Scarlet Knights this year: Ethan Kaliak Mantis is 59 for 96 with 761 yards, completing 61.5% of his passes. He has 7 touchdowns and 1 interception on the season. He has been playing pretty good, but boy, it's just ugly watching him play quarterback. I don't know. It's just, I hate it. Kyle Monangai, key contributor for Rutgers. The running back has 97 carries for 589 yards. He's averaging 6.1 yards per carry, and he has 6 touchdowns on the season. Big transfer wide receiver Demir Miller, 15 receptions for 277 yards. He's averaging 15.1 yards per catch right now with 1 touchdown. And then defensively, Daryl Dejabone. I don't know, man. That's tough. But he's playing pretty well. He has 35 tackles, 10 solo, 1 forced fumble. However, Rutgers defense has no sacks. Let's hop into their offensive and defensive team rankings. Rutgers as a team offensively has been very solid all season. Right now in points per game, they're averaging 32. That ranks 38th nationally. They're averaging 412 yards per game. That's 48th nationally. They're averaging .468 points per play, which this is a very interesting metric. A lot of people look at this to actually determine how good a team is. But they're averaging .468 points per play. That ranks 34th in the nation. Yards per play, they're averaging 6 yards per play, 39th in the nation. And then their red zone offense has been pretty good. They're completing at 75% in the red zone. That ranks 21st in the nation. Defensively, it's been a little bit of a different story for the Scarlet Knights, a little bit of a mixed bag. Again, more of a bend, don't break defense, but they do struggle in some areas, and Nebraska will be looking to expose that. They're allowing 19.3 points per game. That ranks 28th in the nation. 382 yards per game. That ranks 73rd in the nation. So not great there. They are giving up quite a few yards. Points per play, they're allowing .319 points per play. That comes in at 44th in the country. And then they're allowing, like I've said multiple times throughout this video, 6.3 yards per play. That ranks 105th in the nation. Their red zone defense has been phenomenal. They are stopping offenses 55% of the time in the red zone. That comes in as 3rd best in the nation. Now, flipping that script over and looking at the Nebraska rankings, it's been a little more consistent on the Nebraska side of things. Obviously, still looking better defensively than offensively as far as this stat comparison goes. But let's hop into the offense first. Nebraska's averaging 30 points per game. That's coming in at 53rd best in the country. 30 points per game, 53rd best in the country. We are averaging 397.8 yards per game. That is 55th best. .427 points per game. That ranks 50th in the country. 5.7 yards per play. That's 54th. And we are 72.2% from the red zone. That is 112th in the nation. Not very good there. Defensively, the Huskers have been lights out. They're playing like a top 20 defense, top 15, borderline, somewhere in there. We're only allowing 14.5 points per game. That comes in as the 12th best mark in the country. And only allowing 267.5 yards per game. That's 13th best in the country. only allowing 0.234 points per game. That's 14th best in the country, and giving up 4.3 yards, per play. That's 17th best in the country. In the red zone, we have been a little wobbly, allowing opponents to score 77.8% of the time. That's 39th best in the country. Overall, when looking at these numbers, Rutgers' offense has a slight edge over Nebraska's offense. However, Nebraska's defense is exponentially better than Rutgers' defense. So it's going to be a matchup, really, in my opinion, to see how well the Huskers can curtail that rushing game and the power running of Manungai. It'll be really interesting to see how Nash and Ty plug up that middle. Look for them to have big games if the Huskers win. It'll be very important. And speaking of position groups, let's get into the position group mismatches. On the offensive line, I think you have to give the advantage Rutgers. They've been more efficient running the ball and protecting the quarterback, so definitely have the edge there. Quarterback is Nebraska, and it's not even a question. Ethan Kaliak-Manis makes me want to pull my eyes out when I watch him play quarterback. It's ugly. Ugly. Not saying he's a bad quarterback, it's just so ugly. Ugh. Running back, advantage Rutgers. Manungai is one of the best running backs in the country right now. Even with Nebraska's double or triple headed monster, I don't even think it's close. Wide receiver room advantage Nebraska. Outside of Miller, Rutgers really doesn't have much of a threat. I mean, you saw that catch from Strong in the end zone. That was a nice grab, but they haven't been too productive as far as their wide receiver room goes. Tight end, once again, advantage Nebraska. Thomas Fidone, one of the best tight ends in the country. Defensive line advantage has to go Nebraska. Rutgers has failed to get any sacks on the season, found it difficult to even get pressures on the quarterback, and they've been giving up massive chunk plays on the ground. So Nebraska has the edge in almost every defensive category. I gave them the advantage on the defensive line, the linebackers, and the defensive backs, with Sire Wright playing lockdown defense, and what we hope Tommy Hill would possibly be able to return this week. And if that's the case, bouncing Sire over to the other boundary and then moving Buford back to rotate with Hartzog at safety would be an ideal situation. Last position group, special teams. I think we all know who has the advantage there. Rutgers' kicker is only 2 for 4 on the season. However, last year he was almost lights out. Just fantastic. This is going to be really important to see if Nebraska can take steps forward. Keys to the game. Keys to the game. Well, these did change a little bit for me this week, but for the most part, they stay the same. In any football game, a key to the game is always going to be dominating the line of scrimmages. I'm interested to see how our rush game looks, if we can continue to bleed this defense that has just been anemic this season against the run, which is my second key to the game: run the football. I'd like to see Dowdell early pounding the rock, followed by Emmett and Ramir right after him, though. I don't think you wait till the second half to get Emmett heated up again. I think you have to get him touches, and a significant amount of touches in the first half. Win the turnover margin. Nebraska has done this every single game this season. They pushed once, but other than that, they have won the turnover margin every game. Rutgers only has 2 takeaways, I think. Nebraska's +5 right now. Maybe more. I'm not sure if that's accurate still. But win the turnover margin. Teams that win the turnover margin almost always win the game. So that has to be a key there. And then my final key to the game, and I think this could be the only key to the game, contain Monangai. If you shut down Monangai and force Kaliak Manis to throw, he is not a good quarterback, in my opinion. His mechanics are awful. It looks horrible when he throws the ball. And with Sire Wright playing so good and Nebraska's safeties, Malcolm has, 2 interceptions on the season? We got some guys that can take the ball away, contain Monangai, shut down the run game, force Ethan Kaliak Manis to throw, and make him beat you, which I don't think he can. So those are my keys to the game. Things to watch. The offensive line has looked really good in pass protection this year, but they've lacked massively in the run blocking department. How did they look against a Rutgers defense that has just been gashed over and over again all season to the tune of 6.3 yards per carry? That is crazy. And then with the two-headed monster in Dowdell and Emmett Johnson, I look for them to have a pretty big game running the ball. And then last thing to watch, I've said it multiple times throughout this video, how well does Nash and Ty fill up that middle? Stopping the inside zone and split zone is going to be essential to this game. So watch for them in the middle. On to my hot takes for the game. As we saw in that Washington film, Rutgers plays zone coverage in cover 2 like their life depends on it. We've seen plenty of teams, Illinois playing a very, very complex coverage, zone coverage system where they're disguising their coverages, making it look like man, and then dropping back into zone. So Dylan Raiola's faced complex zone schemes this season. Look for him to have a big day tearing up that zone coverage. I have him throwing for 3 touchdown passes. Another hot take, I think Nebraska corrals Monangai, holds him to under 80 yards rushing. And this is going to shock everyone, but I think this is something that Nebraska needs. I've had one of these on my hot takes every week, it seems like, to no avail, but maybe this week we'll see something different. Probably not, but we'll see. Hot take, John Hull makes a field goal from 30-plus yards with a good snap. That is the key there, with a good snap. And then my super specific prediction, Nebraska pounds the rock with Dowdell early, going for over 50 yards in the first half. Emmett Johnson will earn majority of the workload in this game, carrying the ball 18 times for over 100 yards. Dylan Raiola absolutely chews up the zone coverage, going 27 for 33, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns in 0 receptions. He breaks the 300-yard mark on his first game of the season and eclipses the 1,500-yard passing mark. It would also put him at 12 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, I believe, which you really can't complain there. As far as the score goes, let me pull up DraftKings. Okay, as far as my score prediction goes, the line on DraftKings right now is Nebraska -7. The over-under is at 41. I would take the over, take Nebraska to cover. I think Nebraska wins this game somewhere in the margin of 32-14. Fingers crossed that Nebraska gets over 30 and gets away from this 28-10 nonsense. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And until next time, go Skurs, baby.